I'm fascinated by like pretty much every other thing.
All right.
Thank you. How popping out or what? Fix me
Look
up.
at me, stop touching me. No, it's fine.
Alright. It's not plugged in, but yeah, it's a prop. It's a prop. They don't trust me with the real one yet.
I thought you were going to ask Master that a question.
I did, but it was off to the side. It was a little.
Oh, did you? What did you ask him?
I asked him why he did that to my dad. Ben Askren.
What did he say?
He thought Ben Askren was actually my dad. So.
What did he say?
He was like, "Oh shit, that's really your dad?" I was like, "No." Got him. Do you ever go back and watch your fights on UFC Fight Pass?
I do sometimes, yeah, if I want to see how funny I was back then or just to see the technique or whatever.
What is your favorite candy?
I don't eat hard candy, but I really like chocolate and ice cream. Is that an acceptable answer?
Partially with
What's
the
your
chocolate.
favorite candy?
I'm an M&M's guy, and that's it. There's no substitute. Skittles, no Skittles.
I used to eat them, but I would say M&Ms are better.
You heard it here first. All right, so this is my first interview here with UFC Fight Pass ever on the interviewee side or interviewer side. I picture interviews like pancakes. You know, the first one's always a little rough.
Good comparison. I love pancakes.
How would you feel that I did on a scale of 1 from 10? And don't go easy on me.
I would say 8 or 9.
Any tips?
Don't apologize or say that it's your first one. You walk in there like you own the place. Like, I got this. I'm the microphone. You're going to answer my questions. How are you? Or whatever.
Confidence has always been an issue for me.
I understand though. I used to suck at interviews.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're so welcome.
Were you there for Chase's fight?
Yeah, 245?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
What was it like being there?
I don't know. I'm getting used to it. It's like that was like my 9th one with him, so
But at the UFC,
it's stressful
I
for
imagine.
sure. I'm like day up, I'm like shaking, can't
And
eat.
afterwards, boring. The
But
rest of the fight.
yeah, that was a lot of fights to watch afterwards without him. But yeah, it was good. Yeah, I'm happy for it.
Did it feel different because it was at the UFC?
It's always like a fight. It's just stressful regardless.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter like when he fought Sky Moisicek or whatever. That was like just as stressful as it doesn't even
On
matter.
UFC Fight Pass.
On UFC Fight Pass. Yes.
Here he is.
One and only UFC Fight Pass.
Hey Chase, nice to see you again, man.
Good to see you.
Chase is going to hold his own mic, I think.
Guy comes prepared. UFC 246, media day. Commander Usman, the welterweight champion, on stage at the moment doing interviews, but you know what? We don't give a fuck about the champion because we here with the people's champion, Chase Hooper, man. The last time we were in Vegas, this guy made one hell of a debut. You enjoy it?
Yeah, I had a great time. Actually, walking out to the fight, I was just excited, and yeah, it's been life-changing, but I'm having fun with it. It's a great time.
To get a TKO to strikes as well. That was like the perfect start for you because obviously, you know, going into the fight, you were obviously leaning towards potential submission. That was everyone was expecting, but to get the finish with strikes, man, that must have been cloud nine stuff for you.
Definitely. That's actually the first time I've ever cut anybody, like in a fight, so that was a good time for me. You know, good experience. Had fun with it.
The fight itself, you looked quite cool in there. You looked quite relaxed. I'm sure the nerves, the butterflies were going in your stomach, but were you surprised how well you handled it?
Yeah, usually when for me it's all the preparation, like all the build up to the fights, that's the worst part. But then when I get out there, it's kind of, you know, my eyes kind of glass over, you know, it's a little out of body, and I just don't really care, you know, because there's no getting out of it at that point. I just kind of got to face it, and yeah, I felt great going in there.
Did the experience of stepping in the octagon, the whole media week, and obviously getting your hand raised, getting interviewed in the octagon afterwards, did it live up to expectation? Because I'm sure you played that shit out in your mind over and over and over.
The thing that's crazy is everything's like smaller than I pictured it to be. like when I got in the octagon, it was like up to here, you know. I was expecting it to be like 7 feet high, and like same thing with like Joe Rogan is like, he's like 5'8" or something, you know. All the stuff like that just ended up being smaller. All these guys like Max Holloway, I picture them to be like giants that are like just super jacked and like way bigger than me, but it's, you know, it definitely brought everything back into perspective.
You said your life has changed since you got the victory. In what ways?
Get more likes on my Instagram. There's that. I'm out here doing some correspondence for UFC Fight Pass now. But other than that, the day-to-day is pretty normal. But I don't know. I guess now I feel more validated about my career choice, and you know, yeah, everything else the same though.
You say you're validated about your career choice. Was that your moment to look back at everybody at home, or any teachers that may have doubted you, or adults around you that went, this is not the right career? Is that your way to go, fuck you, I made it?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that aggressive. I was definitely the nerdy kid in school. I don't think anybody really, like I didn't get in trouble or anything. Like all of my teachers and stuff were supportive. I didn't really talk. I was just a quiet kid. But you know, it's kind of validating for my team and stuff. Like my coach was in the UFC when I was like 11 years old, so it's kind of cool. He made his debut in Vegas, so it was cool to, you know, come full circle with that and kind of be able to show that I have a high-level team and that, you know, we're able to make it from day one all the way to UFC.
You said in the octagon afterwards that you were going to celebrate big time in M&M World, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What did that look like? How much did you spend in M&M World?
We actually didn't get to go the night of the fight. It was a little too wild. The guys at Fight Pass were actually kind enough to take me there yesterday. The M&Ms are not very economic, you know, they're pretty expensive.
What better way to
The M&Ms were a little expensive, and thankfully they put it on the company card, but it was like $40 for like a pound and a half or 2 pounds of M&Ms. So it's quite a price.
So you won't be going back there unless we get a performance bonus?
For sure. Yeah, we'll see. Next time I'll be prepared. I'll come in with some cash.
Absolutely, yeah. On the night, obviously there's some great fights, but I was disappointed you never got a performance bonus. You must have felt the same way after a performance like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a super stacked card. I wasn't really expecting anything. Because with all the names on there, Jeff Neal, Mike Perry, that was a great fight. Obviously, Usman, Covington was a fight of the night. Yeah, I felt like there were a ton of great fights. It would have been nice if I got one of the bonuses, but, you know, I'm still happy with, you know, the money they gave me.
Absolutely. Is your father out here? Is Ben Askren out here with you?
I don't know. We're a little estranged. I'm waiting for the meetup. We'll see if he's out here cornering Macy Barber. If he is, I'll snag him up, do some, you know, some father-son activities. Go to the park or something, you know, go get some ice cream. We'll see.
You're obviously embracing the whole Fight Pass experience as well. It's like you've been completely sucked into this UFC world now. They're loving you.
For sure. You know, I came up on with the developmental deal. I was on Fight Pass for all my fights after Contender, and they're great guys at Fight Pass, and yeah, they're super cool, and I like to rep Fight Pass because, you know, they've been with me since Contender.
Absolutely. And 2020, what's it look like for you, Chase? Seriously, you know, how many fights you hoping to have this year, and will we get to see you over the other side of the Atlantic in Europe?
I don't know. I'm hoping for maybe 2-3 fights this year. I want to stay busy. But I want to get the right fights. I don't want to just take fights on short notice and kind of just throw caution to the wind. I want to be smart and kind of work my way up the division.
Super. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
You look great. Macy, what's the secret? Why are you making this look so easy?
Oh, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know.
No UFC jitters, no nothing. You look like you belong in there. You look like you're loving every second.
I do belong here, and I do love every second. You know, this is a blessing to just be here. You know, I'm trying to take it all in and enjoy everything.
What advice have you got for young fighters hoping to step up to the UFC one day about the transition that you've made, because you've made it so seamlessly?
Oh man, it's a roller coaster. You know, nobody gets to anywhere they want to go without ups and downs. So learning to just enjoy and and just be present in the moment would be my number one. And whether you get to the UFC or not, I think that even just setting the goal to get where you want to go, setting big goals is definitely something that you should do, because you never want to become complacent.
Are you enjoying being dubbed a prodigy, a future title contender, a future superstar, a superstar in the making? Are you enjoying that role?
I am. Ben Askren just told me pressure is a privilege. So that's what I want. I want a lot of pressure because it's a huge privilege for me to have that pressure.
Another great card for you this weekend. Another great opponent in Roxanne. Absolutely tons of experience. Must be a pleasure for you just to share the octagon with somebody like that.
Absolutely. She's been around. She's fought a lot of different girls, a lot of different veterans of the sport. And so I'm really excited to just go out there and show that it's my time and that I'm the future.
Our job with the media is to push people towards the title, probably a little bit too soon. What's your time scale on it? We're all talking about you contesting the title this year. Would that fit you, or would you like to just keep building that experience against the right opponents at the right times?
No, it does. I would like to fight. Obviously, this fight come out healthy, and then I'll be back in the gym. And we've talked about 1 or 2 more fights, and then hopefully fighting for the title by the end of the year. So 2020 is a good year.
What have you taken away from this week so far? People say Conor McGregor fight week is not like any other UFC fight week. Have you seen any differences? Have you felt anything different?
No. I mean, honestly, this is the first time fighting in Vegas, and obviously being able to be at the Apex and the Performance Institute, that's the biggest takeaway. It's not even that I'm on this card, it's that I'm able to be in Vegas and have the support and the recovery and the training, and it's easier. That's pretty much, I think, the biggest takeaway is it's easier. I don't have to go find a gym, find a hot tub. I have people, I have the facility, and I'm just blessed.
Do you like the PI? Do you fancy doing a camp at the PI maybe one time?
I don't know if I could do a camp, but I definitely come out here after every single fight because there's no better place to be than at the Performance Institute, getting recovery in and training in.
Can I ask you for a fight prediction for your fight and the main event?
For mine and the main event. All right. Well, so for mine, definitely coming out hand raised. I pictured it a bunch of different ways, but I'm always going for the finish. So I'd like a first or second round finish. And then for the main event, I don't know. I think someone's going to get knocked out. That's all I know. But at the same time, because I've heard what Cowboy has said and what Conor has said, I really think someone's going to get knocked out. So it's going to be exciting.
Brilliant.
I'm going to cry.
Thank you so much. Thank you. UFC 246 Media Day, hanging with the main man, Mr. Duke Rufus, who's got 2 fighters out here at the moment. Duke, first and foremost, I want to ask you about the young lady to our right, Macy Barber. Wow, she's got so much potential. How much have we actually seen inside the octagon yet compared to what you get to see in the gym?
Just a wee bit. She's amazing. I've had the pleasure of being able to train with some women, but she is a very special woman. At such a young age, dedicated, focused. She's already doubled and tripled in fight IQ, strength, stamina since her last match. She's very dedicated, and we have a lot of fun training together. We have a similar family background. All her siblings trained martial arts. Her dad was her coach. I grew up the same way. I was on the mat since I was 4 years old. So we kind of vibe together very well. She's really grown close with the Pettis brothers, and her and Anthony being on the same card is really special for me because I feel she's probably going to be the next champion that in the UFC that I'm training with, and he was the first champion I trained with. So it kind of bookends the whole legacy of our team. But she's amazing. She's something special. She studies, trains, she eats, sleeps, and drinks MMA. It's so fun to train her, and it's a pleasure.
She's entered the UFC with so much potential anyway, so we kind of knew about her, but she's just seamlessly taken to it, and she looks, there's been no nerves, there's been no adjusting phase. She just seems like she belongs here and has been here forever, even though she is so young. As a coach, is there always that fear, but that first UFC fight about whether the nerves might kick in or anything like that, or with her, did you not have no fears at all?
No fears at all. I mean, the last fight, she was so calm before the fight. She just does a great job of training herself to fight, and she is a natural. she's a very nice young lady, but she loves to hit people. She loves to inflict violence in the ring, and that's a great thing to have in this business. In fact, she doesn't have any women training partners. We only have 2 women fighters at our gym. One is a lightweight and trying to get in the PFL, and the other one is Macy. She trains only with men, and she's very fierce. She's a special fighter.
Right now, I'm sure the UFC, like all the media in this room, we're trying to push it towards a title shot. Perhaps a little bit too soon. When would be the perfect time frame for you?
I think she wants to do the business here. Hopefully fight on International Fight Weekend. Possibly fight at the end of the year for the title.
Wow, so soon.
Yeah. Well, there's not a lot of women in that division, you know. I mean, it's my job. Right away we get back and we're going to focus on Valentina, and we're going to keep focusing. The neat thing I have is her age and her discipline, her hunger, where most people are out doing a bunch of other stuff. She gets right back to work, and we pick up right where we left off. I mean, it's what I've been able to do with some fighters over a 5-year period, I've been able to do that in 1 year with Macy. She's just she has a desire to master martial arts, and it's really fun.
Wow, would you say she's the most gifted student in that regard that you've ever taught MMA, male or female?
I just think, not gifted, she has a grasp of her purpose, and I've trained some great ones, but she's just really special. It's and this last month I really saw it. I've been throwing a lot of different things at her that she's just navigating and mastering very quick, and it's exciting. I mean, it strives for me to even get better as a coach, and it's fun, and I think she has all the potential in the world. And the neat thing about it, she's a very pleasant person. She's not toxic, and she has a great smile. So not only can she fight, she's just a pleasant person to support as well.
Wow, amazing. Have you got one eye on John Jones's record, the youngest UFC champion? Because she can beat that this year.
Of course. I mean, that's what her desire is. I mean, she wants to truly, step past some of the greats, some truly great athletes. John, I have nothing but love and respect for him, and that would be an incredible feat to surpass. I mean, but we're going to see it more. Somebody might break her record. I mean, her younger brother is 18. He's a beast. He's a savage. That's kind of my jam, my specialty. I trained Sergio since he was 13, Pettis, and he had his first fight when he was 15 years old. So me being a childhood martial artist and my family, the way I grew up, I think the future of the best athletes are going to come from the kids who start martial arts and MMA-based training the younger in their life, and they're going to have quicker success.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me about Anthony Pettis. He's obviously in a different place to Macy. He's been there, he's done it, he's wore the t-shirt, he's had many viral moments. His legacy is pretty much assured in the sport as it is. What's motivating him to keep getting up at 4 in the morning to do the runs, keep going to the gym every day, and keep working hard?
Well, after you do all that stuff and you achieve a lot of greatness in life, you got to reinvent and redirect your sales, and I'm really proud of them. It's been super organic. I mean, both of these kids are a lot alike right now. I just kind of show up and be part of the process, and I just hang on for the ride. He's the most motivated that I've seen him in a long time. I'm not saying he was lazy. Again, and I got to give you my perspective. We joke, I'm not the coach for everyone. My older brother's a 10-time world champion. I'm a 4-time world champion. My dad was our coach. So I have a different level of motivation than some people say. His normal motivation is very high, but then we had the motivation that won those 2 world titles, and that type of desire is back. And I'm not talking a physical. It's studying the game every day, more tape, more film, becoming a master martial artist, being in the right position to make the right play, the reactions. Because when Anthony is able to do that, he's something special to watch, and I see it. This is our best training camp in years. I know it sounds cliche, we're supposed to say that, but I'm here confidently. He's going to have a great performance. And what is motivating him? I tell him the story. In 2006, I was cornering my guy, Stephan Bonner. Well, the main event that night was Anderson Silva. He debuted in the UFC at age 32. Anthony is 32. So everyone wraps numbers and age and etc. I don't think so. I mean, it's all about desire and reinventing yourself, because if you saw the Anderson Silva that lost in Pride, you would have never thought he was going to be the GOAT of the UFC. And sometimes as fighters you go through emotional blocks, personal problems, injuries, coming back. He's had some catastrophic surgeries. Physically, this is the best he's felt in a long time. When he feels good, he fights good, and he's going to fight very well Saturday night. I'm excited. And as well, he's one of my dear friends. I'm trying to help him exit this sport gracefully. How do we exit this sport gracefully? Is we want to do it by winning and cementing his legacy. And obviously, when you win, you make more prize money so he can feed his family and have a great life for his family.
Do you think he's going to stay here? Do you think we'll see him finish his career in the UFC? Because there has been talk of Bellator around him, but...
it's a very great time in the MMA. We're very grateful to UFC. They put us in a great position with Anthony. But at the end of the day, everyone wants to make the most amount of money as possible. And I think the UFC understands that too. But it's great that Conor's back, because Conor has brought some hype. We're very grateful to him and, his persona and the Irish charm that he brings to this. It's amazing, because say maybe Anthony has a great performance, Conor has a great performance. We'll see where it goes. I'm not saying they fight or not fight. That would be a nice fight. But, let's do it one fight at a time. We want to win this one and go from there. I know that Dan Hardy has said some interest in wanting to fight Anthony. He's very interested in that fight, so he'd like to fight him in Brooklyn. He wants to get the business done Saturday and maybe run it back in Brooklyn right away, be on that big card. Right now, Anthony reminds me of an overgrown kid in a good way. He's having a lot of fun, and he's just enjoying the moment here at Media Day, everything he does. Even he cooked his own food the whole camp. He went very old school. He went back to the roots, almost like Rocky 3 when he went out by Apollo's, or even more rustic, Rocky 4. Anthony, we call him Showtime. I've always called him Showtime in the ring, but he's Anthony to me, and he's really lived a very humble, focused, almost like a monk lifestyle in preparation for this fight, and his razor-sharp focus is going to show.
Absolutely. Can't wait for Saturday.
Great.
Thank you, Duke. Much appreciated.
I was going to say a welcome change. I wonder, do you find this more pleasurable? I mean, I think in the past, man, you've had the weight of the world on your shoulders as you're, creating these rivalries and making these intense battles that everybody wants to tune in for. Is this better?
Oh, there's still pressure here, right? There's still weight on the shoulders. So, I enjoy it. I enjoy these moments. This is what I love to do, right? So it's good to be back. It's a different response between myself and Donald, but it's still a high intense bout, and make no mistake, I'm coming with all my intent and all my skills to put Donald away.
And Dana has said that there's some stakes here. It's basically the #1 contender bout for you at lightweight if you choose. I'm curious. I know you say maybe that fight doesn't even happen. It's fallen apart so many times. But let's say the fight does happen and we all get to see it. Do you have a preference of getting a rematch with Khabib versus if you were to take the lightweight title from Tony Ferguson?
I think regardless of the result, I think I should probably face both of these men. I would like to face both of these men. I'd like to face Tony Ferguson. I've had a history with Tony, right? We managed Tony. He was well looked after. We had him one of the highest paid non-champions in the game, and there's history with Tony. So I'd like a bout with Tony at some stage. Of course, the rematch. We must make that rematch. I'm pushing for the Moscow bout. I'd love to do that. Both men are certainly in the crosshairs.
Yeah. And last thing for me, Conor, you got to take care of business first on Saturday, but you're a guy that gets to call the shots sometimes. We had Kamaru Usman here earlier, and he said, listen, if Conor wants it, I'm interested. We also had Masvidal here, and he said his eyes kind of lit up a little bit. I think he's down.
Yeah.
He said he might even.
I'd say so. This. Let's be real. It's the McGregor multi-million-dollar fight club, right? Donald's next up. This will be a multi-million-dollar payday for Donald. Gone from a couple of 100,000. Talk about the records and the amount of times this man's made that walk, and he's never hit the 7-figure mark. Now he's going to hit the multi-7-figure mark. So I'm very happy with that and very proud of that, and proud of the position I'm in. So you best believe all their eyes are lighting up when the Notorious's name is mentioned. Like I said, this 170 bout, I made this bout at 170 for the excitement that's going on in the 170-pound division, and my want to get in there with this situation for the bad motherfucker belt or the world championship belt. So both of those men are also on my radar.
If you had to pick one of those three, if Dana came to you with the option and said, look, lightweight title fight, welterweight title fight, Masvidal for the BMF title, which one would you prefer?
You know, whichever one comes up first, to be honest. I just want activity, right? I'm going to go in, I'm going to look to acquire rounds in here. I'm not going to be in a rush. I'm going to put pressure on Donald. I'm going to hurt Donald, but if he can last, I'll be happy. I'll be happy to acquire rounds in here and then build on these rounds. I feel after the Diaz 2 build-up that I had, and then the performance I had and the bout itself, and then leading into the Eddie Alvarez fight, I just felt like I was in prime condition and untouchable, and so I'm looking to acquire that time in there again. So whichever one comes up first, like I said, God willing, I get out safe on Saturday night. Whoever's up next, I know a date was mentioned in March. I'm up for March also. You're gonna see a lot of me. You know, you're gonna see a lot of me here. So happy days for you all also. I know all your eyes are lighting up too.
Conor, to your left, are you surprised this fight with Cowboy hasn't happened before, because it has come close?
Yeah, you know, it has come close. Nate Diaz obviously stepped in that time, and it's been rumored since 2015, right? So it's been inevitable that the bout would happen, and I feel the timing has been right. You know, we've gone our ways, and we've come back around, and things have changed, and it's like I said yesterday, it would probably have been a different build-up many years ago if the fight was made compared to how it is now. So I feel the timing is right. I feel it's good for myself, good for Donald, good for the sport, and good for the progression of it. And I'm happy also it's at 170. You know what I mean? Like I said, Donald didn't think I was going to beat Jose at 145. Thought I was too small at 155. Now I'm at 170. People say maybe I am playing a little psychological game with Donald, a little internal one or a subliminal one.
In the main event, Donald Cerrone and Conor McGregor are going to meet. They had this weird sort of relationship where they've been connected for 5 years, sort of in and out, and it was going to happen. You, interestingly, is quite similar to Conor McGregor. You've been linked to him a number of times, and it's never quite happened. Do you look at this fight in the main event and think, that could have been me, or are you just happy for Cowboy to get an opportunity like this?
Yeah, bro. In fighting, you're supposed to fight who you're fighting in front of. Like, it's not like, that's supposed to be me. That's not my game at all. I'm happy for Cowboy. It's awesome to see him get that opportunity, and the way Conor's treating it, I love it, man. It's about respect. It's about martial arts. We all know they're going to fight on Saturday, so all the rest of the stuff is unnecessary.
So the quote about their blood will be spilled, but it won't be bad blood, is that exactly what you want from MMA fighters, that sort of mentality? A fight, but no ill will?
Well, I mean, if you're not good at trash talking, don't talk trash. Like, Conor's good at it. So, like, it's entertaining, it's fun. But then you get all these guys trying to follow his lead, and they don't know how to trash talk, and it's just, like, sounds stupid. So I'm like, be yourself. If that's who you are, that's who you are. But it's cool to see Conor growth. I think he's what he was talking about, his maturity level, taking care of himself. I'm on the same thing, so I love it.
When you talk about bad trash talkers, who do you have in mind?
I can't give no examples, but like the guys that say something and it's just like, flies off the set.
You are one of the best strikers in the UFC, especially at 170 and 155. Main event, I'm sure you've been asked already, but give us a prediction. Who do you see taking the win on Saturday?
I fought Cowboy, and I chose to fight him southpaw for a reason. I saw holes in his game. I'm sure Conor sees the same thing. But the later the fight goes, the more chance Cowboy has. Cowboy's underrated on the ground for sure. I heard him say he's not going to wrestle him, so we'll see what happens.
Have you seen any changes with Cowboy? You got to him early, you fought him in a very specific way. This version of Cowboy does seem different, but at the same time, there still seems to be some of those same ghosts that kind of rear their ugly head. What have you seen from Donald these past few years?
Well, I mean, he's definitely grown in the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu aspect. I went up there and trained with him, and he's got great takedowns.
You trained for him with this fight?
No. I went up there and trained with him previously,
but
he has great takedowns. He has great offensive takedowns. So if he wants to take Conor down, I think he can.
Well, I guess the question would be, does he want to? Because exactly, because you know the type of guy he is. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that's in him, especially with a marquee like this and this type of fight.
And you got to respect it. I like it, because it's a real fight. And I think that's what these fans are coming for. They want to see blood. They want to see a fight, and he knows that.
Anthony Floyd Mayweather began his career as Pretty Boy. He ended his career as Money Mayweather. You came into UFC as Showtime. Is that nickname still hold true for you, or would you change it up?
I'm Showtime all the time. Showtime all the time. I'm looking to put on a show.
Can I just ask you one last question,
Sure.
Anthony, just about Dan Hardy? You mentioned it there that Dan Hardy called you out and you'd love that fight. Realistically, could that happen this year?
If he's coming back, I mean, I don't know how long it's been since he fought. I mean, Paul Feller's my boy. He mentioned it to me, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But Hell yeah, I would love to fight in New York.
Cowboy, I know you prefer having no trash talk, but are you surprised that Conor's not coming with a bit of his usual verbal warfare, as it were?
Oh, I was excited to sit back and have a chuckle. Just don't know what he's going to say, you know, or what he would have said. You know, you lost your last 2 fights, I'd have been like, yeah, and, you know, couldn't really talk bad about me being a good father or a good role model, so I don't know what he would have come at me with, but I was ready just to laugh. I was hoping. I mean, he did good. He still had his witty little charm, and I think the press conference threw everyone for a loop, and it was good to see him he has such an awesome platform. Why not be a good role model? Why not be a good person? So it was cool to see him sit there, and the same thing I've been preaching my whole time, like, man, you can steer this vessel any way you want. It's good to see him making the right path, man. I like it.
You and him have been linked for this 5 years, almost since the first press conference. What was it like to finally actually stare down with him and look him in the eyes? I don't know if you take much away from a face-off, but what was that like?
Nah, it was like they always are, you know. We're fighting on Saturday. I'm sure tomorrow will be a little more fired up, looking into my soul. I don't know. I love it.
The usual criticism of you is can't win the big one, like you said yesterday, and you struggle with southpaws. Some would argue then that this could be the worst possible matchup for you. I get the sense that actually fires you up more than anything. But what do you say to those people who think, stylistically, this is as hard as it can be for you?
Yeah, they always say Cowboy can't do the big fights. This is the big one, so we're going to see, you know. But all those guys that beat me have gone on to be champions and title eliminators, you know, so it's not like I'm just out there getting my ass kicked by nobodies, you know. The people that are beating me are good, and I've been in the sport a long time. I deserve the respect I get, and it's cool to finally see Conor giving it to me. And Saturday night, man, I plan on doing everything right. What Cowboy shows up, fuck knows, man, but hope the bad motherfucker shows up. That's what I'm hoping for.
Cowboy, over here to your left. Cowboy?
Yep.
So what would you think if the surprise was Conor starts talking mad trash when you get into the cage?
Oh, now we're fighting. Now that's a different story.
All right.
I mean, now we're actually in the octagon. Yeah, say whatever you want. It wouldn't like throw me for a loop or catch me off guard by any means at all. So I'd be ready for it. I mean, I fought Diaz. That's some bitch. That's all he does the whole fight. So yeah.
Speaking of Diaz, do you see some similarities in the fights that Conor had with Nate Diaz and the fight that you're about to have with Conor? Can you take anything from what Nate Diaz did against him?
You know, other than just a gritty, nasty fight, that's what I'm looking for, you know, 5 rounds of hell. So we prepared, my coaches and I, we're ready, man. I don't know what else to say other than that.
Okay, so you say you have a 6-fight contract and you're excited about fighting 6 more. Could that be it? Could the end of this contract be the final chapter of Donald Cowboy Cerrone? Or
this year? Yeah, maybe this year. But no, hell no. Not even close. It hasn't even thought about the final. No.
So getting the bigger payday, would that maybe stop you from trying to fight 4 times
Nope.
a year? No, you'll keep on doing it.
You give me $80 million, whew, Sunday I'm going to see if you want to run it back again. So, yeah, hell no.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Thank you. Last question is, how does the Donald Cowboy Cerrone of 2020 compare to 2015 and 2010? How are you different, and what are the things that you think you've improved on the most?
Oh, I've learned how to listen to my body, for sure. Training. I know how to get on the Harley and let the wind blow and not worry about this fight. This is a lot. Man. This is a hell. I mean, sitting here in front of you guys, so you got to just put my knees in the breeze and let all that shit go, man, and just worry about rolling, you know? So for me, all the crazy activities I do, just get this out of my mind, you know? Don't think about it. And so what's different? I'm a lot more matured, a lot more veteran, ready, excited, and know all the steps I got to do to not be a slow starter, you know, to make it happen on the big night. So we'll see.
The outfits there and everything yesterday, and you know the PETA back and forth. They actually just tweeted you and Conor a few minutes ago saying, "You're right. We are here to remind you that only cowards would brag about wearing an animal who was likely beaten and skinned alive. Why don't you knock out your own securities and wear your own skin?"
Woo, man. Well, I guess if killing humans was legal, I could probably wear a badass human jacket, but I got a white buffalo at home, PETA, and when she croaks, I'm going to wear a bitchin' ass fucking legendary white buffalo cape out one of these days. So, not the ranch, I have a lot of animals, turkeys, goats, chickens, pigs. We kill them and butcher them. We eat them all ourselves, man. We use every bit of them. So it's not like I don't just go down to the store and buy beef, you know? We raise it and kill it and eat it. So if there's something inhumane or unjust about raising and killing my own meat for my own sake, PETA, you're fucked up. Granted, I didn't kill the snake or raise the snake to build a python jacket, but god damn, it was fucking cool, so I had to wear it.